All right. And spotlight, sorry. Okay. So nasal breathing. Just a good practice, no matter what. Sorry, I keep getting people popping in here. No matter what you're about to do, getting brain, breath, body, alignment, connection, always a good idea. Also, seated meditation is an opportunity to find the plumb line, the central line that runs crown through the center of the body, out through the perineum or the floor of the pelvis underneath here. And then eventually that same line goes through each leg to the ball of each foot or the bubbling spring. And so then essentially if we were to draw it, it would just be a line. And then that line bifurcates and goes down through the two legs. But we will make one of those connections be the primary connection. The other foot would then be free to step up on a curb or a stair or turn left or turn right. And then all we got to master is the ability to then change that to where that central line here becomes supported by the other line down to the bubbling spring, and then down to the bubbling spring, down to the bubbling spring. So really that's all that Tai Chi is doing, even with all this marvelous movement and all this stuff. It's just change over here and rotate, change to the other leg and rotate. And it's beautiful and complex Tai Chi forms so that if you practice those, then when you just go walking, walking feels very easy. But often we don't practice enriched movement. And so then simple things like walking suddenly become complex to us, right? It's all relative. So anyway, it's enough jibber jabber. Find that central line, go straight from crown down through perineum. And a very important point is to not hold yourself up, but in fact to let go of that holding. And that letting go is how we root ourselves. We don't root by forcing ourselves to root. We root by letting go of what is suspending us from our root and connect through to the earth. And then we let go and connect to the other. So right away in a simple seated position, we're connecting down through the central line and feeling what it is to be rooted, which is a passive and relaxed gesture. Nasal breathing, in the nose, out the nose or the mouth. Eyes closed is a good practice for upgrading body awareness, inward vision. Gently open the eyes. Let's do our simple self-massage routine, which just stimulates and wakes up the whole body. Hands together, rub the hands together. Then one hand to the outside of the other, rub all the way up. So we're tracing this whole map of the outer body all the way up and all the way down to the fingertips. Then come underneath on that same hand, do the inner portion. Reach the arm up. If you can drop it over top, great. Rub down the side of the body. Come back up. And you're at the palms again. Let's do that to the other arm. So feeding. Michelle, can you make sure you're muted for me?
Yes.
And all the way out. And then we get the inner portion. So we're feeding awareness, stimuli, in through the sensory nervous system to the brain. So the brain right now is working, right? Not only the act of massaging, but the act of interpreting what is happening to it. The body and the brain are having to figure all that out, right? Spend a little extra freestyle time on your hands, your wrists, especially those of you with any of that achy sort of arthritic buildup that's happening. One of the interesting things I've read in I get the Mayo Health Clinic letter, and it was talking about arthritis being a problem of lack of movement, which movement hydrates areas, like spongy hydration. So that stiffness needs to be gently moved, right? All throughout the achy spots, because that's like sponging, putting liquid in, letting it out, washing through the area. All right, hands go to the neck. This is where we go open palms, up, 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 just this upward stroke of the neck. Then hold one hand against the base of the skull. The other hand does the side of the neck, the base of the neck, the back of the neck, and we switch side, base, back. Then we take thumbs and trace that line right where the skull and the neck meet. Then we do tiger claws through the hair on the scalp, through the scalp. Through the scalp. Now this sweeping sort of raking gesture we then do from the brow out and around with the palms, around the temples, around the temples. One more. Then we do that bridge of nose, cheekbones up and over the temples, over. Then we do the ears. We cup, squish and press down and through, and then circle under again and do it again. Cup, squish, cup, squish. Then we use scissor position, index behind, middle finger in front, up and down on the roots of the ear. Then we do scissor cut the dish. Then we do jaw, down the neck and throat. Again, jaw. Lung point 1 and 2, this little collarbone, shoulder, chest convergence. Make your knuckles like this. See my hand? Press softly and then circle. Then heart point 1, outer front rib cage. Rake. Under, up, shoulder, and then squeeze, squeeze, squeeze down the arm, off the fingertips. Make the little knuckles. Lung point 1 and 2. Heart point 1, rake, rake, rake. Under, up the middle, onto the shoulder, and then squeeze, squeeze, squeeze like a tube of toothpaste. Down to the fingertips. Circle. Hands on breastbone. We go up the breastbone, down the breastbone. Stay on the chest. Then we come up to the top, out, down the ribs, in the ribs, up the middle. Switch directions. Out, up, in, down the middle. Loosens the shoulder while giving the front body that stimulation. Then stopping down at the bottom, liver and spleen, just at the upper belly, lower rib connection. Solar plexus, just below the rib cage, the stomach circles. And notice how I stacked one hand on the other. That's common when you have one area that you don't want to be sort of like this. You want to be as one. So you're turning your hands into one thing. Then the inguinal region and groin region. Take that around to the tailbone. Up the back onto the love handle area, the hips, lumbar spine. Turn your fist, make fists. Turn your hands, make fists. Use the back of the fist to go up the lumbar spine, then do thumbs up and use your thumbs to go up higher if you can, and then back down. Now we rub legs, fronts of thighs, inner thighs, outer thighs, underneath the backs of the thighs. We get to the backs of the knees, the outer knees, the front knees, which have a bunch of little nooks, right? The inner lower front, outer lower front, then the upper inner, outer, right? Now we fold at the hip crease and slide those hands down to the shin. Feel those two canals right on the inner shin bone, right here, and then also on that outer area. So run your thumb and your middle finger down those canals, and then get around to the back of the calf and give the calf a little squeeze, a little button pushing. There's often cramps in the calves. And now the ankles, thumbs, fingertips into the many nooks and crannies of the ankle. Come around the feet to the inner ankle. Now we do this flow. Come up the inner legs to the belly button, right? This is our middle. From this middle, we control the lower and the upper. This is this fulcrum that in complex Tai Chi practices, it's from the middle. So we trace around to the back, find your middle vertebra there, that lumbar area known as Mingmen. Give it a little rub-a-dub-dub. Then turn your palms to face the body and slide the hands down the outer back legs, around the feet to the inner. Come up the inner, past the groin to the navel, around to the back. Rub that Mingmen, that fulcrum, that pivot point, and then go down the outer legs, around, up the inner to the navel. So let's do that 3 more times. See if you can get that flow. Around, rub-a-dub-dub, and then palms on the body, sweep. And finally, up the outer, down. Turn that arm again, up the outer. Switch. And Shogun. Hands hover at the middle, the navel, the middle dantian, the middle reservoir, our energetic center. All righty, scoot to the back of your chair. Let's just do our leg warm-ups. So hinging, lifting the thigh, but also pulling the heel in, right? That's chambering, down, chambering, down, chambering. Don't use your hands. Don't use your hands. Just use the brain. Now, chamber, push. Chamber, down. Chamber, push. Chamber, down. Chamber, push and hold. Point, flex. 4 times. Invert, evert. 4 times. Circles in each direction, 4. Other direction. And switch legs. Chamber, push, hold, point, flex. Invert, evert. Circles. Other direction. and down. Scoot forward all the way to the front edge of your chair. Swivels. Lift the ball of the left foot up, turning on the heel, the knee and the toes, and from the hip, everything turns out. Lift and turn it back to neutral. The toe touches down each time. Then lift the toe and turn the leg inward. So you get this little awkward position. This is internal rotation. Neutral, external. Neutral, internal. Now skip over neutral. External, internal. External, internal. Two more. Neutral. Other leg. External, neutral. Internal, neutral. External, neutral. Internal, neutral. Skip over neutral. External, internal. External, internal. Two more. Back to neutral. Both legs. External, neutral. Internal, neutral. Again. Skip neutral. One more. And neutral. Now bring the legs close together. Place both your hands on your right leg. This left leg lifts, rolls out, down. And it comes in. Up over the top and in. Now, sometimes what I see people do is they lead with the foot and they do this sort of thing with the foot. And what you'll notice, the thigh's not moving. So I want you to feel from the knee down, very loose, hanging. And the real work is in this hip socket thigh bone relationship so that it's up, roll it out, and down. And the foot just floats along and lands perfectly. And then thigh, so that this hip socket's getting a very rich experience of circles, 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 circles. Let's switch legs. Up, open, down. And down. Neutral. Forward folds. Hinge. Back to vertical. Lean back. Vertical. Forward. Option. See what I do here. When I fold forward, I spin my arms around like so, right? They go from here to there, and that opens up shoulders back. Then sitting up. Then leaning back. And up. One more. Step your legs wide. Turn your arms like this, little dragon position, and fold your hips between your legs and your torso down between your arms, and then come back up and lean back. Your arms sort of got to go to neutral here. And then forward again. The arms are in neutral. As you fold, you spin on those hands and create that internal rotation. Back, and the arms go to external or neutral rotation as you lean back. One more. And back. And now the dragon stirs the seat. Tilt and bow your chest towards your right knee. Sweep under and over so your chest is near your left knee. And then come up and lean back. And then forward and through. And then back and around. And forward and through. Eventually there's a standing version of this pose. Once more, as you get back, then switch directions. Around and through. And we're back to neutral. All right. Legs come close together. Close. Standing up and sitting down. It's where we hinge. That's the first gesture. Arms out in front. First energetic push is forward. So your butt's off the chair, and then push through the earth and try and go up by rooting down. Relaxed, empty chest, relaxed, loose arms. Now we stick the butt back. We sit. And then we sit vertical. Forward. Up. It's only a matter of about an inch usually or less that people are not going forward enough before trying to go up. Similarly, sitting in the chair and having not gone forward with the head and shoulders and then sinking and then landing, right? So again, err on the side of too much forward. Fold, and remember, it's not a bunch of effort. Here's the other important thing with this. It's not, here we go, from here. It's fold softly. So first get here. Then it's a little bit of effort, but it's not that much to just go oomph forward. Forward. Head beyond your toes. And then push down to root up. And again, folding. All right, and now we go forward and up. Now just the squats, so only go as low as you can come back up so you don't fall in your chair. Sink, pause, rise, and air. Now let's go a little too far. Hips forward, arch the back a little bit. Find neutral in the middle. And then from neutral, the booty back, head and shoulders forward, sink the tush. And then again, rise, and then hips forward. So we can go too far in this direction so that we get a feeling of coming back and finding, effortless middle, booty back, sink. Rise. A little too far. One more. Find the middle. From the middle, rock into the balls of the feet, heels, balls of the feet, heels. So now let's start to use the chair a little bit for our opening warm-up series here, okay? So have your chair ready. Hands are near the chair, fingertips. Rock into the toes, lift the heels. Lower, rock back, still got the chair there, pull the toes up off the ground, and then down. Forward and up, back, down, and then lift the balls of the feet and the toes. So you're just on your heels. Up. Final time. Now, the other exercise I want to add here, which I'm not sure if it's going to work for everybody in your situation, but let's just see how it works. Hands on the chair, walk back, and fold in half. This is like downward facing dog. So this stretches your shoulders, stretches your back, and stretch your hamstrings as well. So hopefully this is working. If it feels way too awkward, then just come out of it. And walk yourself back up. Nice and loose and relaxed body. Now, from here, turn and be sideways on the chair. So I have my right hand, you might have your left hand so that I'm your mirror. And like a pendulum, swing. Loose. Remember what I point out each time is that the forward swing, people often swing from the hip. But often we stop here and then people just bend their knee like that. So then they're just doing this instead of what's needed is the hip. See how my hip goes back. 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 Swing that pendulum. Loose. Light. Then on one of these forward, do what's called a kobu or a hook step. Watch what my foot does. Hook. And then I turn. And now I'm facing the other way. Set yourself up, pendulum. From the hip. And when the hip goes back, the knee may bend, but just make sure you're not only bending the knee. Like this, right? The hip. Swing it. Loose. Free. And kobu or hook step. Turn it around. Michelle, I see you with a raised hand. So if you have a question, you got to just unmute yourself and ask it. Right? Because I'm in the
Okay, so I've had 3 hip replacements and my legs are different lengths. So it's hard to keep the left leg straight because it's longer than the right.
Yeah, sure. So you can lean in such a way that the leg is somewhat free, right? And lean sort of onto the chair a little bit more so you have a little more room. But we want to experience this loose leg. We want to experience the looseness. So regardless of differences in length of leg, get the feeling of all your weight in one and freedom of the other. So if you want to micro bend the knee, like you're saying, that's fine. But make sure you're feeling it from the hip, that looseness. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Good? Okay, so go ahead and mute yourself again. All right, back to our first side here. Oh, sorry, our first side was this side. So now, as you swing that leg back, bend the knee, bring the knee forward and the foot up and over, and then let it extend down towards the floor, swing back. Swing back. So again, it's sort of like skateboarding, right? If my standing leg was on the skateboard, this leg is pushing off the ground, skating. Switch directions, forward, tuck, reach back, skate forward, skate forward, skate, 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 and kobu, hook, turn. Now we pendulum swing back. Bend it, bring the knee forward, sweep, sweep. Switch, directions. And kobu. Now face the chair, empty this left leg out, in, sort of like a little bit of a swing, but it's also like a push through the outer edge of that foot. Switch legs. From the hip. Now, empty this left foot again. The left foot goes forward, out, around, and back, through, inside, and around. Around. Someday, you feel like you can practice some of these with no hands. That's the next level challenge for those of you who feel comfortable with it. Switch directions, back, out, and around, and forward. So they would call this a C step. We'll C step. Make a C. Letter C. One more. Switch legs. Forward, C back. Forward, C back. Forward, C back. Loose. Other direction. C. And finish. Now again, from here, empty this left foot. You lift the foot, turn it out, set it down. Leg is turned externally. Lift it, turn it in, land it. Lift it, turn it internally, land it. Neutral, external, neutral, internal. Now skip neutral. Switch legs, neutral, change weight. External, neutral, internal, neutral. So this act of pick it up, land it, pick it up, land it. Skip over neutral. And middle. Qigong means close. Now, hands can be on the chair for this one. I'll do it facing you guys. Just imagine a chair. Weight shifts to my right leg. Lift the left heel, possibly up to the tippy toes, to where there's no real weight in it. And then land the whole foot empty, change your weight. Heel lift, toe lift, up to the tippy toes, and then land. So stick with that version or go one version higher to disconnect, reconnect, land the foot empty, change the weight. So the real key is getting it all the way up and all the way down without weight in it, then choosing to change. And there's this wonderful phenomena that when you get completely committed to one leg, that empty leg lifts and moves without effort, without traditional effort, without like seizing up all your muscles to try to get it to happen. All right. Now, let's have hand on chair as needed. Left foot in front. We shift. Be in the tippy toes of the back foot. Shift. Tippy heel of the front foot. If possible, especially in these early exercises, this is where you want to play with hands very lightly on the chair, if at all. Then when we go to level 2, that might need to change, right? Level 2 is disconnect, reconnect, shift. Disconnect, reconnect, shift. And then especially even more so when we go level 3, you might need that chair. See that forward move, backward move, shift back, full chamber, down, shift consciously, all the way up to chamber, back without any weight in it, shift. And switch sides. So to switch sides, we do a move from bagua, which is step, kobu, which is like a hook step, turn that foot out, and now we're ready. Let's get that other foot heel ready. Shift, level 1. Shift back. Shift back. How's your teacup doing on top of your head? This is where you want to practice no hands if you're feeling like you want to start playing with that. Then level 2, disconnect, reconnect, shift. Disconnect, reconnect, shift. So feel that differential like I was talking about, a central line that goes down to the bubbling spring of this leg. And then when I shift here, now it's the bubbling spring of this leg, so I don't need this one. Let's go level 3. Then I get that connection. Now I'm ready to just lift and reach back. And now I shift. Now this is the connection. This lifts and lowers with ease. Then I shift. This lifts and lowers with ease. One more. And kobu, shift, hook, turn, and prepare. Set up again. Now, this is where the chair will need to be out in front. So you'll need to be sort of back behind it so that you have room to now shift. When this right foot is empty, step it, shift, pause. Shift back, wait for front foot to be empty, float it back, toe, shift back, pause. Level 1, do it again. Swing the foot. Remember our pendulum swings. Swing. Loose. So change the weight, loosely swing that leg. Change the weight, loosely swing. Level 2, small obstacle. So it's lift, lower, shift, small obstacle up and over, shift. Now we're lift, lower, shift, small obstacle up and back, shift, lift, lower. Your central axis connecting to the earth through one of those legs. So now it's that leg, then I shift, now it's this leg, then that foot is free to lift and lower, then I change, then I change. Now let's go to level 3, tuck, down. This is where you probably need the chair, heel, knee, foot, down, shift, heel, knee. We go back, reach back, shift. So now it's up, tuck, reach, chamber, shift. One more. Kobu. Step, hook, turn. Now again, ideally, you notice that I am walking and I'm staring at the camera for some of it, and then I'm staring straight ahead. And like Karen, I see you rubbing your neck, and I'm not sure if that has something to do with you having to look at the camera. So you could always adjust your chair so that you're walking straight forward and straight back when you're doing your exercise. Put the chair on the other side, put the chair on the other side, right? So it's because this is an unnatural thing. We don't walk around our whole lives with our heads turned. So it's understandable if your neck is hurting from that, you might want to adjust your implements, right? So I'm doing this because this shows you the movement the best, but you need to do what's best for your body, right? So please do that. Now set it up. Level 1, foot's a little bit out in front. Shift, wait for that back foot to be empty, swing it. Shift, pause. Shift back, swing, shift back, pause. Once you know the exercise, maybe you don't stare at the screen anymore, you just stare forward, right? So your neck is practicing being forward. Maybe you check in every so often if I've said something, but you see the exercise and then you apply it. But remember, the thing you're really working on is that swing, that loose swing of whee, light and empty. One more, level 1. Loose. Loose. Level 2, up, down, shift, small obstacle, shift, lift, lower, shift, small obstacle, shift, lift, lower. So again, once you see the exercise, maybe you don't need to have your head turned facing the screen anymore. Or maybe you adjust your camera or your chair so that you can look straight ahead. Did you notice I'm looking this way, the direction I am moving? All right, now, level 3. One more, level 3. Shogun. Now we got to get as much of a runway available as possible here. So now we got to back up. This is where it would be good if you had your walking stick or your cane or something to go with you if you felt a lot of balance issues. This is where we do level 1. So put one foot out in front. Now we just shift, swing, shift, swing, shift, swing. Go back. Swing that loose foot, loose leg from the hip. Your vertical axis stays in contact. Do that again, level 1. Stays, your vertical axis stays in integrity. And you just work on how swiftly can you allow one leg to be your support, then allow the other, then allow the other. Hit the bullseye each time, the ball of the foot. Level 2, small obstacle, lift, lower. Now we go up and over, 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 up and back, up and back, How's your teacup doing? Keep an awareness of that teacup. Light and loose. Even if you got a walking stick, it can be off the ground, but you're just working on, rely on these legs. That's what I noticed so much with folks, is that when using walkers or other things, we train to no longer rely on our legs. Let's go level 3. Big loping steps. So even if you use something, which you should if you should, just use it in a way that still has 90% or more reliance upon legs to keep you up. One more, level 3. And Shogun. Get to the right side of your chair. Empty the left leg, full right foot. Step out. Shift. Empty right foot steps in, stays empty, then we shift. Out. Shift. In. Shift. Out. Shift. In. Shift. One more and then switch directions. So remember, the key to this is right here, especially. The foot steps out, but I don't put weight in it. Then I do. I bring this in, I don't put weight in it, and then I do. One more round. How's the teacup? Arms loose. Shoulders relaxed. Vertical axis goes down each leg and connects to the bubbling spring. Bubbling spring. Bubbling spring over here. Bubbling spring over here. Other direction. So you see this arm gesture that I'm doing? This is to encourage an awareness of down, down. So we're going to do one more round and you guys join me with that. So index fingers like little pointers, okay? Left foot goes out. So as you shift down with that left hand, the right hand comes up. This being empty steps in. Now, as you change, be very clear. That's going down. Step out. Down. So we're in this leg pointing down. And we put that foot down. Now we change legs. We point down with where the weight is going. So where your weight is going, that's where the hand is going. Where the weight is going, that's where the hand is going. So right now, if you're in your right leg, your right hand should be down, your left hand should be up. Step out. Change. So, Karen, it looks to me like you're in your right leg, but your right hand is high. It should be the other way around. Whatever leg is your full leg, that's the hand that is down here. And then change. And then change. And then change. And then change. Now let's go the other way. So we step out. Shift into that right leg. That right hand goes down. Step in. shift into the left hand leg, that left hand goes down. So notice not the hand that's rising, but the hand that's going down more than anything. We focus too much on this, and we miss that. And then that. There you go. That. And now let's just do this one in place. Legs even. Change your weight to your right leg. Point that right hand down like you're digging it into the floor. This left hand up. Change your weight to your left leg. Point the left hand down. Left hand down. Right hand up. Change. 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 And both hands down, both legs down. Shogun. Right foot turns out. Shift onto it. Reorient yourself. 1/4 turn to the right. Empty the right foot again. Turn the right foot out. Shift onto it and a 1/4 turn to the right. You should be facing away from the camera or something like that. Turn the right foot out. Shift and rotate and turn yourself to face now the opposite wall. Turn the right foot out. Shift and turn. Now you should be back to facing the camera or thereabouts. Let's do that once more. Right foot turns out. Shift, rotate. Right foot turns out. Shift and rotate. The key is when you turn your right foot out, don't turn the body with it, really. Turn the right foot out independently. Then shift onto it and turn the body. Empty the right foot, turn it out independently, and then shift onto it and rotate around. Let's go to the left. So we got to empty the left by filling the right. Then shift and turn, 1/4 turn left. Left foot empties, it turns externally or out. Shift onto it, hit the bullseye, the bubbling spring. Empty the left foot again, turn it out. Shift, bring it around. Empty the left foot, turn it out. Shift. Do that again. Have a relaxed gaze. Once you're facing the camera again, stay facing the camera. Watch what I do next. There's the turnout, but instead we want to do turn in. Shift onto that leg and do a little 1/4 turn left. You won't get very far. You're going to do that again. Right leg internally rotates. So you pigeon toe. And then you shift and square up. Watching again. Right? It's the opposite of turning the leg out, in. And then we shift and reorient. It's almost like a little waltz step. Turn the foot, shift and reorient. Internally rotate right foot, shift and reorient. Let's go around one more time like that. This one's a little weird at first. It makes a lot more sense later when we put them together, but it does need to be understood how the legs and knees and feet are all protected and safe, yet we are creating this different position. This is a position you see all the time in Tai Chi, and there's many reasons for that. But for hip health and balance, very key. The next time you're facing the camera, pausing there, we go the other way. Internal, shift, reorient. Internal, shift and reorient. Left foot, internal, shift and reorient. Left foot, internal. 2 rounds. Next time you're facing forward, stay there, and we'll put all that together here. So watching me, right leg will turn out. I shift onto it and I don't stop there. I pigeon toe the left foot, and then I should be able to, in 2 steps, face directly away from the camera, right? And then in 2 more steps, I should be back to where I started. Right foot turns out, I shift onto it, then I pigeon toe that left foot, and now I'm rotating and I'm back to facing forward. So that means in 4 movements of the foot, I can get all the way around. 1, shift and turn and step and pigeon toe. 2, shift and turn and rotate, turn out. 3, shift and turn and pigeon toe. 4, and I'm back. So let's do that twice more and to the right, and then we'll do it thrice to the left. 1, 2. You got to rotate your pelvis on your legs so that your central axis is really turning in space, right? So the better you have a vertical line intact, the easier it is to rotate just like a pole turning, right? Just turning a pole like that. That's essentially what you're doing, using the feet to be the way that you get it done. So again, out, rotate the pole, pigeon. Rotate the pole, out, shift, rotate, and the key too is empty, full, empty, full. So now it's left foot empty, shift, right foot empty, shift, left foot empty, shift, right foot empty, and I'm back around. So go ahead and do 2 more on your own as best you can. Left foot, turning out, shift. Be clear that one leg is full leg, other leg is moving leg, and then that switches. And then that switches. The better you get at that switch of which leg is the full, which leg is the empty, you master that, stairs, curbs, hills, hiking, all these things become totally available if you can get that change happening. All right. Facing forward, let's do our closing exercises. Hands either on the chair or stacked on the belly button. The weight goes into your left leg. Right foot steps behind, toe touch. Press the heel, release the heel, step parallel. Shift your weight. Again, hands on the chair if that was difficult for you. If this feels possible, give it a shot. Touch the toe behind, press the heel, release the heel, parallel, shift, touch, press, release, step, shift. Now, pause here. I'm going to bring trusty chair into the mix. This hand on the chair, this leg open, turns externally, lift from the hip, lower. Remember what we did on the chair when we went open and closed? Well, let's just do out to in, out to in, out to in, out to in. Make sure you're doing out to in, not in to out there, Greg. So that's the next exercise is that one. Yeah, so notice where my feet are turned, this leg is turned out and it stays turned out as I lift. And then I just go and hang it. Then I just go up, over, and in and hang it. And then just rotate. Switch. Turn the leg out, up, roll it in, hang it, turn it out, up, roll it in, hang it, turn it out. Switch. Turn, all right, so turn, 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 switch. Turn, turn, switch. Last exercise on each leg. Out in front, the hip, the knee, the ankle, the foot, internal, external, internal, or external, internal, external, like a shaking loose of that hip. Switch. And we finish with the Sync Chi Wash Organs Qigong movement that, again, I think I've taught here, but I know I've taught in my other Tai Chi class. Arms out and towards the distance at head height. Into your toes, you're tipped. Tip back towards the heels. The hands come to the mouth, down to the belly button. The tail sneaks out the back like a squat. We sink the tail, but dangle the arms, relax. Push through the earth, rise to the middle. We rock to the heels a little bit to start the arm circle. Rock to the toes to carry the arm circle to the palms out in front of the face. Rock to the heels as we gather in and down to the navel. The tail just sneaks out and then sinks as we dangle the arms. 3 more. Rock back, start the circle. Forward, carry the circle. Back, invite in, down. Tail sneaks out, sinking through. This is like cleansing the palate. Rock back, forward, back, in and down, and through. Last one. Shogun. And seal. One palm over the belly button, other palm on top of that palm. And then Taoist bow, grab, fold over. Thank you, everybody. Have your comfortable seats. We're a couple minutes past 11, so I know some of you may have places you got to be, so you could just say bye-bye and wander off if that's appropriate for you. Otherwise, unmute yourself if there are any finishing questions.